Let me break it down for you really simply. Thetans are 75-million-year-old spirits of an overpopulated alien species banished to the planet Earth, also known as Tegiak. Tegiak. We're all Tegiakians. He was banished to the planet Earth by the evil galactic warlord Xenu. I'm not making this up. Xenu isolated them in volcanoes and blew them up with hydrogen bombs. These spirits left over possess lower life forms like exorcists, including primates, starting with amoebas and clams, then us. These things possess various parts of the body, causing psychosomatic pains and diseases that must be cleared by the use of a E-meter, a cheap polygraph device that registers heat and your reincarnated souls. Yeah, people buy this shit. Not only that, what I just told you about Xenu, if I told you that, and you were a Scientologist and you not reached OT3, the theory is you would die instantly of pneumonia. You believe that? Anybody feeling sick in the room? Got a cough? You sure? Nobody knows? My grandfather, Nibs, helped write many of the instructional manuals on how to operate the E-meter and how to, quote, audit souls until my mother was born. At which point, Nibs needed more money for his family. He grew disillusioned of the rapidly growing scam, the millions of lives destroyed, the constant paranoia, and the war waged on the world with setups, frame-ups, blackmail, state suicides, and murder. He left Scientology in 1959, then spent the rest of his life battling his father like Luke versus Darth Vader. Knowing his father's secret addictions to speed and downers, his manias verging into psychosis, my grandfather took his war to the courtrooms, to the newspapers and magazines, to 2020 and Penthouse, and during the smear campaigns. Under this father's fair game policy, with the endless lawsuits and litigations, ass-fucking your credit reports, breaking into your psychiatrist's office for blackmail, faking your suicide, or a simple frame-up. My mother still has letters from Ron threatening to break my uncle's legs. Ron would trade teenage girls in hot pants to dress exactly as him to mimic his mannerisms. He called them his messengers. With his OSA, his personal Gestapo, who'd come to the door with the threats, with the power to destroy your life. Framing you for crimes with lookalike impersonators, calling your neighbors and telling them you just got released for a sexual molestation conviction. My grandfather, Nibs, had to change his last name to DeWolf, moved constantly across the country, co-writing books, defrauding his father, keeping up the fight until his health failed under diabetes. He died of a heart attack. Many members of my family still refuse. It's a horror story of trauma and worldwide madness that language can hardly describe. My uncle, Leif, has been passed the torch by his father, answers all of my questions patiently, knowing my fascination, cautioning me about investigating our family legacy, cautioning me about coming to Clearwater, Florida, saying that don't go poking a sleeping dog with a stick. Leif says it's perverted our family history, that it's the strangest story he's ever known. He's writing his own book, The Cult Template, an instructional book on how to create your own cult, step by step. He plans to take it on the lecturing circuits himself. My family whispers to me in back rooms that I got my writing skills from Ron, my fire. Leif says, for what he was, this is a self-made man, a dark genius with a ruthless, razor-eyed, steel intent to rape millions of minds simply because he could. You got to admire his ruthless assertion of his will on the world. I do admire it. I want my own Church of Kennedy. That's why I perform. I am my own pastor, the minister of the senator. I've been accused of raping minds myself ever since I was a child. My true rush is expanding my own cast, watching others wither under my will. Right now, when my girlfriend tells me that I'm crazy, I tell her that my great-grandfather believed he was a reincarnation of Buddha. Then I ask her, do you believe in me? I'll make David Koresh look like a doubting Thomas, and make Waco look like a fucking campfire. I'm gonna make Jonestown look like Disneyland, the Manson family look like the Bradys, and I will start a knock from the pulpit you believe in me? Do you believe that I will carry on my legacy? Thank you. Now that my voice is entirely shot.